The Godfather.
www.thegodfather.org.uk.
Hot song over here, so yes, sir. The hot song, them there.
The Godfather. The weekend sounds great.
From the Black Amma Studio. A studio we've not heard before. I've never really heard much about you. I've heard a couple of your songs from here and there from some different people in the industry. But for yourself, it's the first time we've actually sort of had a conversation of this sort on this platform today. So my reason for having you on the program is to tell the people a little bit about yourself and where you're from and how you got started. So let's start off with yourself. How did you get involved in your music world?
Well, Godfather, it's kind of a long story, but it started for me when I was about 21. I used to write a lot of poems for people and things like that, poetry. I was into poetry. Mm-hmm. And then one of my good friends who was a musician, he still plays. He plays in the Legends band, Bob Marley tribute band. Okay. His name is Cheesy. And he actually brought me into the music. He looked at some of the poems one day and he said, those are songs, they're not poems, they're songs. So he ended up bringing me to the studio and recording me with the band, and that's how it started for me.
And the band Legend is still been traveling around the country singing those famous songs of Bob Marley.
Yeah, Legends band is doing very well. The manager Steve is doing a great job. I believe that they're totally booked up for the next 3 years.
Wow.
They're a fantastic tribute band to Bob Marley.
I saw their catalogue of concerts to come. I was kind of impressed that they're fully booked around the country. A lot of theatre work as well, alongside many of the university as well.
Yes, they do. They do a lot of gigs everywhere. I've been to a lot of the gigs myself.
Right.
Because Chi is my good friend. We've remained friends for years. We do a lot of works together. But he's preoccupied with that band right now, and I don't blame him. The one, the great. Everywhere they go, it's packed. It's rammed. It's jammed.
I was just wondering as well, as you mentioned, Legend. Did the impact of the movie? Bob Marley's movie make any greater impact to it, or has it still been the same? Nothing different has changed with them?
Well, if I be honest with you, Godfather, they kind of was making a name long before the movie come out. They've been going for a long time, but it has made a bigger impact for them. They even the tune with Dolly Parton, the country western singer. They've done a video with that, but not much people know about that.
Dolly Parton? Wow.
Yes, you remember the country and western singer.
My big chest woman there.
Yes,
okay.
legend do a thing,
right.
Nice video.
I didn't know she got into that. I think similar to how Beyonce's got into her world, she's got into the reggae side too as well. So I suppose the women are trying.
It just shows how big reggae is. Reggae's gone massive.
Wow.
People were saying it was dying, but I don't believe so. I think it's spread further around the globe.
I think more that the reggae industry grows, the more that the other side of the world is saying, wow, it's something different. Because the days of Top of the Pops and the English music, it doesn't really have a reality substance to it as such. Then when you sit there with a reggae song and listen to the words, and then they get to realize what the words are actually saying. We're singing, but we're singing the words of how we feel about ourselves and the way that we were brought up back from the days of slavery days to the present time. And I find that a lot of vocalists are having success on that stage right now.
I believe so. Even some of the young artists, they're doing very well. They get a lot of criticism, some of the young artists. The people say they're not producing good material, but I disagree. Some of the young artists are tremendous and they've got really good stuff. But my generation, we was fortunate because we grew up in the times where reggae was spreading that message around the globe. So the singers we grew up on, Bob Andy's and your Bob Marley's, your Dennis Browns, we could go on forever. These singers had songs with meaning and messages.
What gave us a great impact was the fact that we had bands in this country that were making headline news in terms of Steel Pulse, Aswad, Matumbi, and those.
Tremendous bands.
Yeah.
You know, tremendous bands. It's a shame that we don't have as many reggae bands coming out like those bands. You know, we had, as you say, Musical Youth, another great band. We just don't have enough of them.
Do we have any bands at the moment right now?
There are bands around, but what I find is a lot of the bands are around because a lot of the musicians was getting disheartened within the music industry.
Okay.
Finding it hard and difficult to get through. So lots of the artists was giving up, and some of the ones that wasn't giving up started going to tribute bands. So you'll find there's a lot of tribute bands out there now. Not so many original bands like in our time. When we was growing up, there was more people trying to spread that message. But there are youths up and coming and trying to jump back on that thing.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's not an easy road. I mean, when you look at Jamaica, for example, when you look back at Studio One and all the artists that passed through Studio One, a lot of those artists didn't make money. You know, they was putting out tunes, and here in the UK, we was buying all those tunes, but those artists wasn't making money because they struggled. It was a hard road. Big artists wasn't making money.
Yeah.
The name was spreading, but the bank account was empty. And that's because the business side, lots of people were singing and doing what they do, building music and building tunes. But the business side, they didn't know the business side very well. Even today, lots of people, including myself, it's hard. It's a hard journey because you have to learn something new every day.
One of the hardest part that's in anything that we do is getting that message across to people to have confidence within whatever you're producing, whether it's music or clothes or food or fashion. It's getting the confidence and getting the word out and keep pushing and working twice or 3 times as hard to get your construction together for people to say, yeah, that sounds good, and yeah, we recommend that to somebody else.
I totally agree with your Godfather, but the problem is there's not enough. How can I say, not enough chefs at the top of the tree to direct people in the right places and help them and show them the path. It's a long journey. I mean, I'm up in my age now, and it's been a long road. You know, it's a long journey. I mean, I used to have a band with Cheesy, the same lead singer from Legends, way back in the days. Mm-hmm. I used to be in another band with Pata Bantan, some Crucial Music, which was great set of musicians. Jaffa and the Mullins brothers, they're tremendous musicians. Tony Mullins, he was playing with UB40 not so long ago. You know, and they all had little different parts, but it's a long road. Sometimes you have to look and feel sorry for some of those people because, you know, they're very talented, but the journey can sink some of them because there's not enough, as I said, there's not enough chefs to guide them to the places. When I was coming, you had people like Stafford Douglas and Dan Christie, and you had 1 and 2 others, Brian Harris, but not too many. If I was to say to people, name me 10 reggae artists out of Birmingham, not the groups, just
singers,
solo artists, you're not going to have very many to mention. That's how difficult it is. You know, we've had Pato Bantons and your Bitty McLeans, but there's not China Black, but there's not too many beyond that.
Right. Are we finding that most of those...
London is the capital city, and everything is in London. In Birmingham, we don't have press implants. You need press implants to press plastic, you know. We've got good producers, good musicians. Birmingham's full of wonderful, great musicians and producers. You have Wooligan. Wooligan is a great producer.
Oh, yes, of course.
He had a big tune with Boom Shakalak, you know, and then you have a man like King Spears, and then you have man like Paul Horton and man like Tamo. Great producers. Tamo used to play drums, but he's turned into a tremendous producer, you know. He's producing some great tracks. A lot of us work together, you know. We all kind of work together. We've worked together for a very long time.
Right.
You know, but and we're just about now breaking through. That's how long the journey's been.
I've received some songs from you. But today we can't really function any of them today because I'm having problems with my machine. But you've done... I've played a couple of songs on vinyl. Obviously, you know, this is a Vinyl Sunday show. last Sunday of every month is a vinyl Sunday.
Yes.
One of the brothers that everybody knows this brother from that industry is the voice of the man called Mr. Harris Handy. How did you get involved with Harris Handy and to get a track that you've done recently?
Okay, with Harris, I've spoken with Harris many times, but I'm good friends with his cousin, and his cousin is Harris Handy and Steel Pulse and Justin Hines is one family. So Carlton is the son of Justin Hines. And me and Carlton's very close.
The Hines family.
So he brought me into it's one Hines family. David Hines, Justin Hines, and Harris Handy's real name is Harris Hines. It's one family.
Right. And
Carlton is the son of Justin, and he's the one that linked me up with Harris. Carlton calls me from Jamaica almost every day.
Wow.
I'm good friends with Ken Booth's son as well. He used to come and stop at my yard regular. So he calls me from. So these are my little links into Jamaica, and my brother lives in Jamaica. And so I have quite a few links on the Jamaican side.
Right. In terms of Ken Booth, we played a couple of Ken Booth earlier. In terms of Ken Booth and his son, how is Ken anyway, after last time you spoke to his son?
Well, Ken is losing his sight. Ken is losing his sight. After all this time, I believe he's got cataracts in his eyes, but he's definitely losing his sight.
Right.
He's still doing his thing. He's still singing him, have him studio in the house, and his son, Kanija, he's a great singer to his son, his eldest son, Kanija.
Okay.
Tremendous song. I got a couple tunes with him too. I'm hoping to put them out as well soon. But his son is looking after him.
Well, we hope we can make a link with the son and also with Ken Booth himself as well. He's not able to travel, so it would be great to have him, the man with the first album that came number one for reggae, long before the likes of Bob Marley. Of course, Everything I Own, the album.
Veteran in the business, veteran.
Crazy, I tell you, that album was something else. I think it's one of the first reggae albums I bought for myself. Ken Booth. Yeah,
when I was growing up, he had some great tracks in the charts.
Yeah, man.
Those days we didn't get much reggae in the charts, but he was one of the veterans.
Well, okay. Well, we hope to make a link with Ken Booth and get the audience to hear many artists, because what's happening right now, we're finding that many people, especially artists and so forth, we lost the love of Tony Tuff this week. And
bad news.
Yeah. And we're hoping that as much as we have a lot of singers as legends from our time, the respect that we gave those artists, we should be able to give those artists the same respect at a later age as they get older, and to give them their flowers in terms of respect and manners, because the people and the audience would like to hear and reach out to those people just to hear something a bit about what they're doing today, and from the days of good times to the time where things are a little bit difficult for everybody. We should be able to let them shine one more time.
Yes, I agree with you totally, 100%.
Right, so we can, okay, well, all right. Now, we talk about...
I can make that links there, so that's not a problem.
Okay, thank you very much, thank you. Well, you also have another link with, his name is Junior Reid as well. You have another track with him. Like I said, I affiliate these tracks within the editing process of this interview so people can hear the version and the music at a later date. But at the moment, we have technical issues with the machinery here this afternoon. It's one of them, I call it one of those lazy days I had yesterday. I just did, But
yes, I know it goes sometimes you get those days.
It's not usually me, but I've learned as well, I need to get these things done so everything fits in, because we usually have everything fit in sometime, but not all the time it works that way. But yeah, Junior Reid, the great Junior Reid that everybody in Jamaica respects as well. You did a song with him. What's the title of the song for the people who wants to sort of log on to the YouTube and find out what song we're talking about?
Well, the one with Junior Reid is called Worth Fighting For. It's a song which I wrote.
Things are worth
quite some time back. Yeah, things are worth fighting.
Things are worth, and in life, things are worth fighting for sometimes as well. Never,
you have to fight for almost everything
Yeah.
these days. Nothing is free. Nothing come easy.
never give up. You know.
Never give up. Keep trying, and
Yeah.
tomorrow is another day. So you just carry on and carry on.
Yeah, man. So your link up with Junior Reid, how did that come about?
Well, if I be totally honest, I have to give big respect again to Carlton Hines, which is the son of Justin Hines. Justin Hines himself was a massive singer. You remember that tune, The Sinners? That was Justin Hines. Sinners Where You're Gonna Run To? That was Justin Hines. Well, his son, he is also friend with Junior Reid. So he linked me with both artists. I have to give him big respect.
Okay.
So that came through Carlton Hines again.
So Carlton Hines himself has got some songs of his own as well?
Carlton is a drummer, and yes, and he's singing. He has got some songs of his own. He's working on some tracks. He sent me a couple tracks the other day, which he's hoping to put out soon. But Carlton is a good musician. There's several brothers of them, but it's Carlton I'm close to.
Okay.
So if I need certain things doing on the Jamaican side, I just call Carlton. But I have some other friends out there too. I work a lot with Harris and his engineer, Andre. He's got a few decent things, and me and Andre, we make a nice band now.
Okay.
He's one of the youths who do the engineering in Harris's personal studio. So me and him is kind of tight too.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Now, in terms of all these people that you are linked with, how did you get your studio started in the first place?
Well, if I be totally honest with you, I used to build music at home where I live, where I am now. But you can't turn up the music too loud. You got to disturb people. When we was younger now, I used to have a sound system, and we used to play the sound in the house and tear down the yard without any consideration for the neighbors. So I couldn't do that up in my age. So I decided to build a studio. And when we was in the pandemic now, is when I started to build the studio. Because there's so much of us. There's not much studios in Birmingham. There's 1 and 2 springing up now, which is great. But because there wasn't much, I said to myself, well, come make we build a studio. It's always been a lifetime dream to have your own studio and to be able to work with other people and other artists and bring them in, and youths, the youths. Because the youths are the people that's going to be making all the new tunes for tomorrow. But you still have to direct them, some of them in the right direction. The studio itself, I decided to do that when we had the pandemic.
Okay. Do you find that home studio work and professional studio work has two different type of clarification in terms of how the production is finished when it comes to music?
Well, I would say so, because the studio is a better environment. It's an environment what we grew up in, what I grew up in. The legend singer, when he brought me into music, he brought me, and I didn't know much about music at all. All I could do was play a little bit of guitar. So when he brought me in, he threw me in the deep end and said, no, start singing.
Okay.
But I do believe you get a better vibes when you're in the studio more than when you're at home. Because you can build music at home on your laptop or on your computer, but sometimes you're on your own. There's not much people there to create the vibe.
Right.
And when you're in the studio and there's people around, the vibes create.
Right.
Some people can just create the vibe and you don't know it's that good enough because it's you one. You need people around to tell you, me like that line, I don't like that line, or I like that melody, I don't like that melody.
See.
If you're working with people, you can direct them. When you're at home, there's nobody to direct you.
Yeah. You're in a corner of a self zone kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. You're only good in your own head. You need other people to tell you if it's good or if it's not good.
Which is true.
Because
Yeah.
I was gonna keep telling yourself it's good because you've done it, but you need other people to tell you that. Let them be the judge of your works.
Would you say is the same formalities for presenters as well? Because things have changed over the years. People would do their radio shows in a proper studio. people are walking around, and you got your own little domain where you have your red light for doors closed, or there's a
similar thing.
Yeah,
it's a similar thing because years ago, a long time ago, I was on with Cheesy, the same singer from Legends, and Pato Banton. We all went on WM radio at Pebble Mill, the old Pebble Mill studios in Birmingham, which was BBC. And we went on there with Elton Ellis and John Oates and Rankin Joe, Anthony Johnson.
Wow. And
it was a nice environment that day. You see, because it's such a big place, you had the 3 degrees in the next room.
Wow.
And then you had other people in the other rooms, all waiting to go on the station because it was a proper big place.
Mm-hmm.
There's a similar thing with studio.
Right.
When you have the right surroundings, it creates other things.
Yes.
That's all about energies and vibes and, atmosphere.
And that's why now you find that many people as DJs or presenters who are in their own little domain, they can only go so far and do what they can do, which is what little facilities that surround them when they're working from home.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct. I mean, I used to go to Stingray Studios in London. Me and him is good friend, and I used to go there every week. Drive to Stingray every Sunday. Them tell me Sledge Sundays you go there, come man, comedy crew on a Sunday. So I used to bring my artists to Stingray. But when I used to come back here to Birmingham sometime and we listen to Fui Tune, I used to think, well, Fui Tune only sound 80%. Right. In the size of the tune. They never used to sound big enough. So there's always learning things and learning curves. It's not that the music wasn't good enough. There's other things to learn to make the music reach that standard.
I use a word that they feel fat because some tune very tinny.
Yes, I mean Stingray was fat because Bobby Digital used to bring the tune and build the tunes in Stingray Studio originally. He used to build out of the tracks.
Right.
I record him up there. I record Bobby Digital. I'm probably one of the first to use a camera in there record people. And I record Bobby Digital when he was working on the Burning Your Bridges album with Dan Campbell.
Okay.
And he used to make the tune them sound away. Bobby Digital build tune. They was big.
Fat.
So fat.
Yeah, man.
Time I used to come back home, I used to think, why the tune them not ready for we tune them sound smart.
Yeah.
But the ironic thing is, Stingray tell me already, them used to come at Birmingham and watch how we used to build a tune down here. So, and them get them idea for going and build studio back in London because them see some of the works what was going on in Birmingham.
Okay.
As I said earlier.
Okay. Each one looking at either's a way of doing things and use it to their advantage to increase and make it better on your side and their side as well.
That's right. You see, money is a factor. If you don't have no money, it's difficult to do what you really need to do sometimes.
True.
And fortunately, they have the money to do what they want to do and proceed and build what they build, and they've done a great job. Me have 100% respect for Stingray.
Okay.
Bona fide virtually.
Okay. Now, as much as we're talking about studios and stuff like that, on a man's side of things, what about for females? How do women get involved with studio work as such?
Well, I know a lot of female singers, and I know a lot of female producers, even in Jamaica, some of the female producers. But as I said again, it's such a difficult road, and money plays a factor that even though they may want to do the things, they don't have the backative, because finding people to back people is difficult.
Right.
But answer to your question, there are people out there, good women, female producers. I don't know any female producers with a studio, I have to be totally honest. I mean, there could be, but I'm not aware of them if they have studio.
Yeah.
Some of the women now, they find it difficult within the music industry. I know some of them get a fight to get through, which is a shame because they're just as talented as the man them. But for some reason, the females get a fight. I was talking to some female artists just last week. Them just come back from Jamaica, and they was trying to do a couple shows there, but they get the fight. I always get pushed to the back of the queue, which is unfair because there's a lot of female good quality singer in Birmingham.
well, yeah, the West Midlands. Going back again, that same scenario. London again. There are a lot of good female singers in London, and those have been around for quite a long time. The likes of Janet Kay, the likes of Sandra Cross, Carol Thompson, Pauline Tarja, and the whole catalogue.
I mean, that's why I say London is a different kettle of fish, because London is the capital. They've got everything in London, the pressing plants. They have everything there. Most of the other cities outside of London don't have much.
Struggling, yeah.
It's a struggle. So anything you want to do, we have to use around go London to do it.
What about the likes of Yorkshire and them places? Have they got anybody they got?
It's a similar struggle for them. It's a similar struggle. I think the further north you go, the struggle become harder.
So?
Because there's less.
Okay.
Remember, Birmingham is the second capital city to the country, and Birmingham hasn't got much things like that to offer.
Right. Now there could be people. There could be people in Birmingham could be saying the opposite to what you're saying. But
there could be, but I mean, look, we don't have a pressing plant. Right. We have to go to London to press tune or other places. We don't have a pressing plant, and that's been a big problem. One of the big problems for Birmingham, because if we had a pressing plant, but the pressing plant is very expensive.
But that pressing plant would have catered for the likes of people this side of North up to Scotland, didn't it?
That's right. But this is where we lack. This is where Birmingham lack. These are the things they learn over the years where we're lacking in the Midlands.
So therefore, the person with the pressing plant in London is laughing because they've got the whole of England coming to them.
Well, this is it because the capital.
Wow.
That's why I say everything is in the capital. That's why a lot of people struggle from the West Midlands because everything is in the capital.
Okay, all right. So let's move on to the name itself, Black Amma Studio. Who gave you that name, or did you give it to yourself?
Well, if I be honest with you, how that name come about was I was managing some artists some years ago, and we put several names into a little bag.
Okay.
And we pulled out the name, and it was the Black Amma name, which is the name that I chose in the first place. But that's the one that came out of the bag. So I got the name.
So what other names were your name had to compete against?
What was in that bag?
Yes, what was in that bag? What other names?
I think one of them was called Black Sheep.
Okay, Black Sheep.
If I remember right, I think one of them was called Black Sheep in the bag.
Black Sheep.
But I was glad when the Black Amma come out.
Black Amma does sound better than Black Sheep. It does.
Yes, of course.
Black Sheep. Yes, sir. What, sir? Have you any wool?
You want to be the Black Sheep, Nobody want to be the Black Sheep. So the Black Amma, that's how the name come about, and the name has stayed with me.
Okay, so under the hammer of Black Hammer, how long has Black Hammer been in operation then?
If I be honest with you, I've had the label trying to set up that label for the longest time, and then I got ill and things like that, and then I got found out my health and stuff, and so I would really say just only recently. Very recently, I started setting it up the last couple of years. When I was building the studio, I was trying to set up everything at the same time.
Okay.
It became a bit difficult because there's so much to set up in the background. When you realize how many things you have to set up, it's a lot. And unless you have a team, a lot of people have teams. Some of my friends, like Bristol, they've got 15 people in the team. Sometimes you need a big team to help somebody does everything. In Stingray now, there's 7 in the team that I remember, and all of them do a job. Well, for me, it was just me one trying to put everything into place.
Difficult. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it's very difficult, even to get sometimes a helping hand. It's difficult. It's not because people don't want to help. It's because nobody's got the knowledge.
Yes.
To many things, to make many things work, including myself. I've had to learn things on the journey, which slows down your career because you come in as a singer, and then you have to learn to build rhythm, then you have to learn how to press tune, then you have to learn how to promote them, then you have to learn how to sell them, there's so many things within the music realm
Yeah.
that you have to learn. Because everybody, there's a lot of producers around, but only few of them had success. I got producers who's been nominated 3 times for Grammys. I have other producers who used to work in Jamaica and who's related to King Tubby's. As I said, we don't know about Wooligan, big producer that. But there's not too much Wooligans around, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
I'm hearing you.
this has always been the issue. When Stafford Douglas and Dan Christie and certain people was around, we was younger than them, and we was coming in as artists, and these people was at the top of the room putting out tunes. So we had to go back and learn the ropes,
Right.
which cut your career down a little bit, because where you should have been singing now, you're having to learn something else.
Well, you mentioned a couple of names. 2 names I recognized, of course, Stafford Douglas and Don Christie. Who was the other person?
Brian Harris.
Okay.
Brian Harris used to have a record shop in Grove Lane, and he used to do a similar thing.
Right.
put
I don't think I went to his shop, but I know about the other 2, Stafford Douglas and Don Christie. Now, Don Christie is the one I had more of a contact with. So what? Are you telling me that Don Christie used to produce tunes as well?
Yes, Don Christie. I had a tune back in the day. It was called Agro. It came out on a white label.
Right.
Don Christie is the one. I only ever pressed 100 copies of that tune, and Don Christie is the one that pushed it for me. And believe it or not, that little 100 copies kind of opened a lot of doors for me. From 100 copies, it went from England all the way to Japan, to New Zealand. It kind of go around the world. So it just got released three years ago by a company called Root Suits from out of London. They said they was trying to find me for 15 years.
Wow.
I said, 15 years?
15 years.
They said, Sledge, we've been looking for 15 years. I said, 15 years is a long time.
And this is the same song that was produced by Don Christie's Records.
No, it was actually produced by by Jaffa.
Oh, Jaffa.
Jaffa is a bass player, and he's got a studio here in Birmingham.
Oh, right. So Don Christie was your distributor then, basically.
He was the one pushing it.
I understand.
He had the record shop.
Right.
Yeah, and he used to push it for me.
Mm.
But Jaffa was the one that created that track. Jaffa was the bass player for Pato Banton in Crucial Music.
Right. Right.
He has a studio now, but I've only ever been in 2 bands. That was the one with Pato Banton and the one with Cheesy, which was called Jam Down.
Now, for the people who have not or don't know much about Don Christie Records, it was one of the leading record shops in the town centre alongside Summit Records.
That's right. Don Christie shop used to be right opposite Steel Pulse's recording studio.
Right opposite.
Right opposite. If you come out of Don Christie shop and you bus a left.
On the left
right
hand,
opposite.
Right,
yes,
but on the left hand side, though, as you step outside Don Christie's record shop, was the rag market?
Yeah, well, you had some little units where you go up the stairs, and upstairs was where Steel Pulse used to have the studio.
Oh, right. Didn't know that, And
not much people knew because it was private.
Yeah, and there used to be a car park opposite the record shop.
That's right.
Right.
On the other side of the car park, on the left of the car park, you see some stairs and you go up a red building. That's where Steel Pulse was.
Oh, I recognize the building and the stairs because I always wondered what was up there, but didn't really...
That's it. Yeah, Steel Pulse was up there. That was their studio.
Oh, wow.
And King Spears was working on some tracks for them. The other producer, Paul Horton, he built the tracks that I sent you. He used to work with Sugar Minott, and so did Spears. Sugar Minott took the both of them to Jamaica because he's too good producer. Mm-hmm. And they worked. And so did Tamo. Tamo worked at Youthman Promotions. Tamo used to play drums.
In Jamaica?
In Jamaica, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Tamo worked at Youthman Promotions. Wow. Tamo also played drums for Twinkle Brothers, as well as Matumbi. Tamo's been around,
He has been
King
around.
Spears. Yeah, and as for King Spears, now he produced a lot of tracks out of Birmingham. And Paul Horton, he's the one that built Money Can't Buy Me Love for Benito Star. And quite a few more tracks. Passion for Rose Capri. You know, Lighty, he built lots of tunes.
Right.
Great producer.
As you mentioned all those names, everything's kind of flooding back to me. And it would have flooded back to many people from that time. Of all these artists you just mentioned.
Junior Roots, you know, may rest in peace. Junior Roots, great artist. Another Silicon Squad artist. Silicon Squad, which was run by Paul Horton and King Spears, they was producing all of the youths those times, which would have been man like Murrayman, Roland Xerox, who's now called Messenger Douglas, the Rose Capri, Sandra Loeb, and there was Junior Roots. They was producing many artists, Bonita Star. You know, I'm only following suit. What I've tried to build now is because their things broke down a long time ago, but they're still producing. Mm-hmm. Everybody's still producing, but most of them are doing it from home. I love the old vibes where we used to have is what made me want to build Black Amma. Right.
Okay. So you're working hard to get your studio working in the way that you...
Yes, it's a difficult... you know, one and two things to do and sort out, but it's up there. I've built 3 studios in the building, and it took a long time. And,
wow, 3 studios compared to so many even started yet. They ain't even got premises, you know what I mean? And those premises are going to be paid for from somewhere, you know?
That's right. That's why I'm hoping we get some big tunes out the road.
Well, like it says, the song called "There's a Hard Road to Travel, but a mighty long way to go, but you won't turn back until your dying day." So yeah, it's possible for that to happen. Just keep pushing and trying. Competition is steep out there as well, and depending on the type of songs that you sing, the songs that you make today may not be the songs of that time, but probably in the next 10 years or 5 years, that song could be something else. Because what I get to understand, many artists have sang many songs years ago, and those songs ain't released until such time. And then when they come on the platform, they tell you that, oh, I made that song 5 years ago. Oh, right.
It's like the song what I say Roots Youths took up. I made that song 30 years ago, and Roots Youths released it back 3 years ago. Uh-huh. You know, so you never know. Things just happen mysteriously sometimes, you know.
So sometimes we could look at some people's catalogue of music. For instance, I hear there's a number of Bob Marley songs still yet to come from different places, and other artists who have gone have got songs somewhere else in different studios yet still to be released.
You know, because the music, it's very funny as you say that, because you record all your life through, and when you record all your life through, sometimes you put down songs, you may not completely finish them, just like what Bob used to do. Sometimes you go back and you may hear that 5 years later, you know, because you've done another 100 songs in between. And then you say, wait, play me back that tune again. When did they do this one? And then you hear a different vibe and you redo them, you reapproach them and things like that. And lots of artists go through that. So lots of artists have material, what they've got in the cupboard, so to speak, what they're waiting to bring out. Mm-hmm. But what you have to do is keep recording, because these are your works coming out of you. So you're always forever recording. And some of them you don't get to finish. It depends how fast you write and things like that. Some people write faster than others, and some take a long time to write a song, and some can write them fast. Mm-hmm. I have a brethren, the same brother, Roland Xerox, Messenger Douglas. Him write tune fast, you know, and then you have other brethren who write tune not so fast, but they write hit tunes, good tune, big tune. There's different levels of writing and different styles, like Babandi, you know, write different to other artists. Great writer. Songwriting is an art within itself. You have to pay attention to what you write.
True. You got to keep,
because it's written in stone. Once you do that, it's written in stone and it's there for life. So you have to give little thought to what you do. Sometimes you can't just record something and think, oh, that's great. Yeah, man, it sounds good. You have to study it, make sure it's right, because people's going to criticize the feet. And sometimes you can overstudy. You can become your own worst critic. So,
That's
it's
true.
one of those things.
It's true. So as we move forward in terms of all the things that you're doing, what's your next plan for the next duration of the months to come? Because there's a number of functions taking place in Wolverhampton. Legends going to be at the tell the people where Legends going to be.
Dominion Centre. Yes, I got some events coming up at the Dominion Centre, Wolverhampton. I have a dance with Peter Spence coming up, and Mike Anthony, Roland Xerox, Sugar Massive, Tanai Brown, and Johnny B.
Johnny, which John? Johnny P from Long Time?
Johnny B for Bravo. Johnny B. Johnny B is a singer should have bossed long time. He's one of Birmingham's finest singers.
Okay.
He used to do a lot of backing singing for Sugar Minott, and Junior Roots them. He's done some backing on my tracks, and I'm so happy with what he do for me. Wonderful voice the brother have. Wonderful. He should have bossed long time. So in my few coming months, my aim is to do some works with some of the artists like your Johnny B's and get what we need to record and get them out the road and try and push certain tunes.
Right.
Because sometimes we sit on tunes as well. And sometimes we sit on them too long and we need to finish them and get them out.
Out the way.
So I have some events coming up with these artists in Wolverhampton. And then obviously I'm going to present the Legends band at the same place, Dominion Centre. And keep 1 and 2 events there.
Right. Okay. Well, of course, I hope all the
Try
best.
to highlight some of the people that we work with.
Yes, of course, and I hope to have to talk to some of them as well at some point. Because everybody needs everybody wants a helping hand or needs a helping hand in every corner of the industry of music.
I appreciate your platform. We need more platforms like this for the artists, so them can come up there and get little promotion. Because there are stations, but the more the merrier for the artists.
Yeah, it's true. And also at the same time for the artists also, and I would say this as well, they also need to work on pushing their events or their promotion as well, rather than leave it to one man to do everything for them.
That's right. You see, this is the problem, because sometimes you have an artist who come to the studio and just sing a song and don't want to do nothing to help push that song. And you say, yo, you have to kind of come on board and help with the promotion, and you have to do this, but some of them don't want to do that. All they want to do is just sing, you do the rest. But, so it's one of those, like some artists will do what them can to promote themselves and others won't. And if they promoted themselves more, then it would benefit them more.
What about in terms of promotion-wise, your songs, do you reach other radio personnels on their platform, on their shows as well?
Yes, right now I've got my songs right now. I've been fortunate. My songs are in Switzerland and in Ireland and Canada and America, Jamaica, New Zealand. My songs have reached. They're going around the place.
Well, what about your own backyard? What's it like in your own backyard? Are you hearing the songs?
You know what is funny? It's funny you say that, because your own backyard, that the saying it's always hard to be successful in the place where you come from.
I hear that all the time, I hear that all the time.
Yes, sometimes you will get them that fight, but I mean, how can I say it? I got more respect out of London than out of my own backyard.
I can say it myself. I've got respect for many people outside of my own borough. But you know something? I don't care how people feel about what they feel. I'll still keep pushing. At least I can say I did all the best I can to push my profile around my own backyard. For them to know that you've got something in your backyard that you lot are turning your back against, and other people are taking the full advantage of it. So what's happening?
That's right.
What's happening?
I mean, that's right. I mean, as I said, London's got everything. I mean, before, when I done my first tune, like I said, it was over 30 years ago. And then all of a sudden, I done a couple more tunes, and I got a big respect out of London.
Uh-huh.
And then the London DJs was calling me and saying, Sledge, don't you have an album? I said, no. They said, well, you need an album, because the tune wicked. You need these tunes you're saying wicked. So me jump, and I jumped on it, and I just put some more tracks together. and I sent them an album, and then I got a bigger response out of London, and I was quite surprised by that.
Mm.
And then
you told me that you told me once that sorry to cut you there, but you told me once that one of your songs that you did quite some time ago was sold to somebody abroad, straight or somewhere, and that person paid how much, hundreds for it?
Yeah, I had a tune where I got a fair pay for it, and that was in New Zealand. And I also had songs where I wrote and Billy Ocean sing for me. I was quite surprised because I said Billy Ocean. Them say Billy Ocean want to link you. I said, why? Them say, hear a song where you write.
Billy Ocean?
And then, yes, and then Terence Trent D'Arby manager come pick me up. I never met these people before. They just find me. And come pick me up. It was a French lady. She used to manage Billy Ocean too. She used to manage Billy Ocean and Terence Trent D'Arby. And she brought me to London to meet Billy Ocean about the song.
Terry Trent D'Arby, okay.
Yeah, so along the journey, you get these little things. Bruce Ruffin is another one. I used to go and check Bruce Ruffin in London every weekend. Mm-hmm. Then I realized the people was more friendly toward, not friendly because I get on with everybody in Birmingham, I get on with most people. But I got more respect out of London.
Right, okay.
And out of Amsterdam, even place like Amsterdam, I get good write up out of Amsterdam.
Right.
Them kind of place. So your backyard, your one backyard is always kind of harder to conquer.
Yeah, harder to sweep sometimes,
Yeah, I remember the days me and Pato Banton used to be in the yard every day because we live on the same road. Yeah. And we have practice on the little 4-track machine them. And we have put on the lyrics, and But with Pato now, he just carried on and until he got successful. Where me start do other things. Because, when I say I do other things, I started getting into trying to push artists and trying to get into that field. I forgot about myself and the journey and trying to work with other people.
So the people that you were helping at the time, any of them reached that success? How far did they reach?
Well, if I be honest, they've been successful in different ways. Because one of the artists I was pushing at the time was Skiboo. And Skiboo got the best album of the year until me and Messenger went for Skiboo. He'd only ever done one tune up until that point.
Okay.
A tune called I Adore You. He done that with Silicon Squad. And then me and Messenger go for him and bring him to London and start work. And then we come back to Birmingham and finish the work. He done very well. Skiboo got best album of the year for that album.
Very good.
Messenger Douglas is another singer. He was doing good with his tracks as well, and his tracks actually make Luciano and Frankie Paul and Justin Hines come to the studio where we was working because they heard the tracks we was working on, and they want to sing on the same rhythms that we was working on. So them come to England and come to the studio, which was in Moseley, and that's where we finished those works there. So,
okay, all right. Well, Sledge Amma, I must say there's a lot of story coming from you right now this afternoon, and I'm sure that the people in the audience in tune are fascinated by what they've heard. And of course, if they wanted to find any works in terms of Black Hammer, how would one get in contact with you?
Well, all the tunes what will be coming out, I've set up a Black Hammer site, which I'm just about to upload because I have to do everything myself. I'm about to upload all the tracks onto that site, and when people want to purchase them can go to the Black Hammer site and purchase them. So within these few coming weeks, most of the tracks I have will be up there, with not just myself, but other artists too. I've voiced some tune with Dwayne Stevenson and Louis Coach and different artists, I got some tracks coming out with those people too.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, okay.
Not collaborations, I've just recorded them as individual artists, and I say, all right. So me have some tracks to put out there.
Okay. Well, all right.
So the Black Hammer site will be up and running very shortly.
Okay. All right. So we're coming to the end of the show because we've only got 2 minutes to go. And I must say, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Godfather. Honestly, I appreciate I appreciate the show. I appreciate the little highlight we make it give thanks. It's blessings. Thank you very much, my brother.
Well, thank you again, once again, and I hope that the people that you've been working with, we can get them to also talk about their platform and talk about more about yourself as well, with you and them to collaborate in the works for a Black Hammer. Enough respect, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Godfather. It's been an honor, truly honor.
All
Blessings.
right. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Thank you. Bye for now.
Yes, my brother. One love for us. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much
Respect,
indeed.
brother.
Yeah, man. All right.
Give thanks.
Yeah, man. Respect. Well, there you have it, the sounds of Black Hammer from Birmingham. Sledge Amma himself talking about his studio career and more as well. Hope you enjoyed that introduction there of the man himself from Birmingham. We're coming to the end of the show, of course. Just got a minute or so to go right now. As a little later on, continuation of Vinyl Sunday, of course. Valentino in the house. 7:30 till 10, of course. Miss Effects, the man with the vinyls. And also a little later on after that, 10 o'clock till 1 o'clock, Redskin Levi. Don't forget, next week, Sunday, is Bank Holiday weekend, and also Monday as well. For those who've just tuned in, don't forget, we'll be talking to, from out of America, from the Bronx, bad place, as I would say, New York City, Brooklyn, all them areas, the streets, the avenues, you name it, gangster pastor. We're talking to the Godfather as well as joining the church elements right now. So we're going to say God bless, take care, look after yourself until next week. Until that time, God bless, take care, and look after yourself.
To give me your loving, I want you to put your trust in me. I've got so many love to share.